I'm Miss Haggerty.
Hi, I'm Miss Daigle. Today we're going to be going over some short stories that we could analyze in our classrooms.
The first one we'll be going over is Girl, written by Jamaica Kincaid. And some vocabulary words to take note of before you start reading are bina, which is a genre of music, dasheen, which is a starchy tuber considered by some to have a texture and flavor superior to that of Jerusalem artichoke or potato, dokono, which is a pudding made from starchy food which is sweetened, spiced, and traditionally wrapped in plantain or banana leaf, and pepper pot, which is a popular holiday meat stew, and gina. The short story seems to be teaching a young girl how to properly be a girl and what is expected of her by society, family, and friends. We can see this in the imagery Kincaid includes in the story. She uses a great deal of descriptive words to ensure that her readers can truly picture what she is saying. And some examples of this in the short story are white clothes, colored clothes, hot sun, hot sweet oil, little cloths, try to take a walk like a lady and not like the slut you are so bent on becoming, and this is how you iron your father's khaki shirt so that it doesn't have a crease. And she uses repetition of this is how, which explains to the audience or her targeted reader how to properly be a woman, and she goes through the process of how she believes a woman should act in society and with her family and friends. And the repetition of how and this is how emphasizes the point she's making throughout the story. And the short story is structured as a stream of consciousness in which Kincaid depicts her thoughts and feelings, and through this she uses semicolons rather than periods to connect her thoughts. And this makes the story seem like a literal stream of consciousness, kind of like a journal or a diary where she's just writing down all of her thoughts. And Kincaid may have used this structure to emphasize how women are expected to be and do as they're told and to not ask any questions, except for at the end when she mentions that, but what if the baker won't let me feel the bread? You mean to say that after all, you are really going to be the kind of woman who the baker won't let near the bread?
Yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming as a woman to meet all these expectations that her family and society is placing on her, and that is conveyed by Kincaid in the story. And by saying that, after all this, are you really gonna be the kind of woman who the baker won't near the bread? What kind of woman is that? A woman who's not respected, and it's why? Because she didn't iron her father's shirt the right way. What kind of woman is that? And she has to be a strong woman in society, but it's what does that mean? It's all stuff that she has to do. Who's giving her all these rules? The men in society who won't let her near the bread because, she didn't iron the shirt right, or she wore clothes that were a little too revealing. She doesn't deserve.
Yeah, and then going off that, there are many other story titles that this story could have. Do you have any that come to mind after reading it?
For example, just expectations of being a woman. How to be a good woman, and it's who defines a good woman, and it's definitely.
I think that this story perfectly flows into what your story is about also, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So how your story is kind of how to be a good woman, mine kind of goes off that with how women, if they're not a good woman, they might not have the confidence. So I'm going to be reading to you guys the story Likeable by Deb Olin Unferth. So I'm going to read that right now. She could see she was becoming a thoroughly unlikable person. Each time she opened her mouth, she said something ugly, and whoever was nearby liked her a little less. These could be strangers, these could be people she loved, or people she knew only slightly whom she had hoped would one day be her friends. Even if she didn't say anything, even if all she did is seem a certain way, have a look on her face, or make a soft sound of reaction, it was always unlikable. Except in the few cases that she fixed herself on being likable for the next 4 seconds. More than that was impossible, and sometimes that worked, but not always. Why couldn't she be more likable? What was the problem? Did she just not enjoy the world anymore? Had the world gotten away from her? Had the world gotten worse? Maybe. Probably not. Or probably in some ways, but not in ways that were making her not like it. Did she not like herself? Well, of course she didn't, but there was nothing new in that. Or had she become less likable simply by growing older so that she might be doing the same thing she always did? But because she was now 41, not 20, it had become unlikable because any woman doing something at 41 is more unlikable than a woman doing it at 20. And does she sense this? Does she know that she is intrinsically less likable, and instead of resisting, does she lean into it as into a cold wind? Maybe, likely, she used to resist, but now she sees the futility. So each morning when she opens her mouth, she is unlikable. Proudly so, and each evening before sleep, she is unlikable. And each day it goes on this way. She's getting more unlikable by the hour until one morning she will be so unlikable, inconveniently unlikable, that she will have to be shoved into a hole and left there. In this text, the girl in the text considers herself likable or unlikable. So what is considered likable and unlikable? Like a girl not smiling could portray her as someone who is unlikable, but girls shouldn't have to smile to be likable. Girls shouldn't have to, iron their father's clothes to be likable. Kind of goes together with your story also. And in the story, the girl is she knows she's unlikable, but she doesn't know why, and it brings you to think, like, is it all in her head? In the story, it says that she doesn't even like herself. So it's like, how can a girl, feel like other people are gonna like her if she doesn't even like herself? And like, I don't know. I don't think it's really like she shouldn't feel that way because of society. I think she should work on her own confidence before worrying about what other people think of her. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like she has to be the stereotypical girl. I think as long as she's confident in who she is, she should be able to like herself. And I think as teachers, like in our classrooms, we can do our best to help girls have the confidence that they should have in themselves, whether they are the stereotypical girly girl, more of a tomboy, or anything else.
I 100% agree. I think making them feel valued and that they are important in the classroom is so crucial in like their education, and they're finding out who they are, and just like making them feel accepted is so important, especially in school.
Yes, I agree. And just to keep reassuring them and not let them feel stupid when they get an answer wrong, and to reassure them that it's okay to be themselves, because in this story now, the girl is 41 and she's still feeling like this. So it's like, all her life does she just feel like people don't like her? And that probably did stem from when she was younger in school, not feeling like valued and appreciated, or even like in your story, like not living up to the high standards of being a woman, because that's just not her. And I think, times are different now. Like, girls should be able to do what they want. Like, if a girl can't cook, it's okay. Like, men can cook, girls can cook, anyone can cook, and if she can't, it's not a reason to be unlikable. And she can dress any way she wants without being perceived as a slut. And
I think that reading like our two texts in the classroom would be extremely beneficial to like all the students, because you get like sort of what girls can like feel like, how they feel like sort of weighed down by like all of their expectations, and then you get the outcome of like those expectations. So you can like compare and contrast the two stories and like discuss, is that the result of like all these expectations, like not being able to truly be yourself? So I think both of these stories would be great stories to read in the classroom.
Yes, I definitely agree. They do kind of go hand in hand. And there were also a few vocab words that I wanted to say before I read, but I forgot. So some of the words might be a little bit harder to learn that I think students could go over again. First is the word intrinsically, which means in an essential or natural way. The next word is futility, which means pointlessness or uselessness. And then the third one is inconveniently, which is in a way that causes problems or difficulties. All of these, she kind of feels like, at this point being likable is pointless, and, she's inconveniently unlikable. And almost I feel like at this point she's kind of like, oh, there's no point in trying to be likable now, like I'm already 41, and it's like...
It can seem too late.
Yeah,
I think both these stories are just great depictions of how women can feel sometimes, and like really important to read, especially as like a woman. So I think they were both like greatly written and structured very well. But those were the two mentor texts we decided to go over, and we hope you gained a little more knowledge on some more texts you can incorporate in the classroom, and just other things you can go over while teaching them.
Yeah, and hopefully all the girls can realize that they're not alone, and feel like they have to be a certain way, and that hopefully our students will realize, and you guys as well, that they can, be who they want and still be confident in themselves.
Thank you for tuning into our channel. Bye.